There was the attack. The official U.S. intelligence assessment released on January 6, 2017 said Vladimir Putin ordered an influence campaign aimed at the 2016 U.S. presidential election. It assessed that Moscow sought to undermine public faith in the democratic process, damage Hillary Clinton, and help Donald Trump's electoral chances. It also made an important limit explicit: the assessment did not judge the effect on the election outcome. That matters because Story 1 is not built on hysteria. It is built on evidence. The first side of the operation was the social media influence machine. In February 2018, the special counsel charged the Internet Research Agency and related defendants, alleging a years-long effort to interfere in U.S. politics through fake American personas, social media accounts, political messaging, and even the organizing of rallies inside the United States. The indictment describes this as a coordinated operation that began as early as 2014 and was designed to impair the lawful functions of U.S. agencies, including the FEC, DOJ, and State Department. The second side was the hack and leak pipeline. In July 2018, DOJ announced charges against 12 GRU officers, alleging they hacked the DNC, DCCC, and accounts tied to the Clinton campaign, implanted malware, stole documents and emails, and then staged public release operations through false personas including DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0. Mueller's report later treated these cyber intrusions and dissemination efforts as a core pillar of Russia's interference campaign. And then comes the part that made this bigger than a foreign cyber story. Mueller wrote that the Russian social media campaign and the GRU hacking operations coincided with a series of contacts between Trump campaign officials and individuals tied to the Russian government. But Mueller also drew a legal boundary that too many people either ignored or deliberately blurred. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities, under the criminal law standards the office applied. That is not the same thing as saying there was no danger. And that is the central lesson of Story 1. Because criminal law asks one question: can prosecutors prove a chargeable unlawful agreement? Counterintelligence asks a different one: has a foreign power created vulnerability, leverage, access, compromise, or exploitable confusion around people close to power? Those are not the same test. They were never the same test. Your research file is exactly right to make that distinction the backbone of the series. This is why the public got lost. 3 different realities were collapsed into one shouting match: Russia's attack on the election, Trump world's repeated contacts and approaches, and the later criminal cases about lies, obstruction, false statements, and process crimes. But those are not interchangeable categories. Russia's interference is documented in the intelligence assessment, the Mueller report, and DOJ indictments. The Trump world contacts are documented in Mueller's factual narrative. And the absence of an established criminal conspiracy charge is a legal conclusion under a specific standard, not a magic eraser over everything else. That is what makes Story 1 so powerful. It tells the audience that democracy can be under attack even where the cleanest criminal case is not proven. A hostile foreign operation can be real. Campaign contacts can be real. Counterintelligence risk can be real. And yet the courtroom threshold for conspiracy can still remain unmet. That gap is where confusion became a weapon. Because once people were taught to believe that not charged meant never happened, the whole battlefield changed. The documented Russian attack was pushed into partisan fog. The public stopped distinguishing between what had been officially established and what remained disputed. And that confusion protected everyone who benefited from the blur. So if the world asks what Story 1 really says, the answer is this: Russia attacked the 2016 election. America documented that attack in intelligence assessments, indictments, and the Mueller report. Trump world had repeated contacts and points of exposure during the same period. Mueller did not establish a criminal conspiracy between the campaign and the Russian government. But counterintelligence danger does not disappear just because the broadest criminal case is not proven. That is why this is the foundation of the whole series. Because before the tower, before Papadopoulos, before the June 9th meeting, before Flynn, Stone, Manafort, Page, Alpha Bank, Butina, Helsinki, and the later diplomacy, there was the attack. And if we do not start there, we do not understand anything that came after. Hard close. Russia attacked the election. That is documented. The propaganda war began almost immediately after. That is history. And the greatest public confusion of all was getting millions of people to believe that if the fullest criminal case was not proven, then the danger itself must have been fake. It was not fake. It was documented. And it was the opening act. Russia's attack was the opening act. The confusion was not an accident. It was part of the battlefield. But foundations only matter because they support what comes next. And in story 2, we leave the broad operation behind and move into the contacts, the approaches, and the first moments where this story gets much closer to the people around Trump.